Korean store. The $6 cans of coffee are only 4 and some change. I was in there and it's not called the Korean store. We just, you know, it's what's it called? Like Waikiki Market or something. We just call it Daniel's because it used to be owned by a guy named Daniel years ago, so it just kind of stuck. But anyway, I'm in there and I thought I was fucking tripping because I just woke up a little while ago. And I'm like just waiting in line, listening to this song and listening to the lyrics. I'm like, wow, what the hell's going on? It was like a lounge version of Skin Trade by Duran Duran. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'd never heard that before. That's kind of interesting. I'll have to check that out. So the third fake 4chan guy has emerged. Now when this went down, after the first two, I don't know why these guys go by. So when this first went down, after the first two guys, I know the way they work with their game altria. So I said there's going to be like a third guy, a third fake guy, because they got the first two fake guys. And I was told by someone else that that the third asset was actually Titwood himself. I didn't understand that, but I figured, hey, you know, some people know about this stuff more than I do. The esoteric world, or whatever you want to, whatever column you put this under. It's a cult, I guess. Yeah, whatever. I mean, these are occultists doing this stuff. Bad ones. But no, it turns out that it wasn't in Chitwood. In fact, there was a third guy. And it's the same, they're doing it, I don't know if they're extraditing this one too. They don't actually have to extradite them because no one's actually going anywhere because it's all fake, you know what I mean? It's all made up bullshit, so it doesn't matter where the people are. I don't understand what the point is. Like, no one cares. It's not scaring anybody. Unless it's something I'm just not seeing. But, yeah, it's like, it's so weird because they think they have a profile in mind when they consider the 4chan user. They think there's a profile there. But there isn't a profile there. It's because it's all kinds of different people from all kinds of walks of life. But in their mind, it's some dude that is living with his parents in a basement. That's their idea. That's such an old meme anyway. But if anything, some of them with their parents with no job would be a pro-government guy, you know, someone on their side, right? That's usually the way it is. The thing about 4chan is because they can't imagine a world where a lot of people feel this particular way. There are people there from, like I said, all walks of life, all backgrounds, and a lot of them just pop in to let off some steam. Let's say what they want to say because they're not allowed to say it anywhere. And I don't mean just get on there and say, like, you know, all the bad words, but I mean to express opinions that they're not able to do in any other spaces. Certainly not in real life, and nowhere on the internet either. So a lot of it is just people popping in for that purpose, you know. But most people aren't there to do that. In fact, the most egregious stuff you see on there is done by glowies, you know. Glow ends are putting that stuff on there. They're the most violent and the most offensive. They're the ones usually using all the words, you know. And you can tell it's them by the way they write. And it's beyond the way they write. You know, everything's frequency. you can kind of feel these guys out. They're so out there and transparent, not just to me but to everybody, you know. And a lot of times we make the mistake of trying to, we don't want to help them, but we inadvertently help them because we can't believe how bad they are. I mentioned recently about the, hold on a second, I'm sorry. When you have to get a second mortgage on the home to afford these copies, you want to drink them to the end. Or actually, when you have to buy a house, then refinance the house to afford a copy. But yeah, they think they have a profile. They think their idea of who the user is looks and has the background of one of those dudes that they paraded out, those fake guys. Down the way to dress, like that sort of pseudo pajama look, like they have no job, you know. They can't imagine that regular people feel the same way about them and their ideas. It must be a small group of basement dwelling weirdos, right? That's their idea. So they'll never be able to beat it or stop it or understand it because they can't come to terms with it. There is no profile of a 4chan user. They think there is, but there isn't. They're showing you what they think they are by these guys that they're parading out there. They're incels who can't get girls. White men with neck beards. They live in their parents' basement. They can't possibly be against our diversity and our multiculturalism and our multisexuality, and they can't possibly against wanting to sexualize children. It's like no one likes a lot of the shit they're trying to push. It's just that people can't say it because of you know, because they'll lose their jobs or whatever. They have to function in the real world, so they can't actually come out and say stuff like that. So a place like 4chan allows people to just, you know, blow off steam in a way. And I know a lot of people do that, you know. And it's been proven that it's all kinds of different people, you know, on that board, by the havoc that it has wrought over the years, by the stuff they got up to. They called an airstrike one day. I wasn't there for that, but and then all the synchronicity stuff, the meme magic actually probably is guys in their basement actually, but yeah, there's no profile of a user, and they're so frustrated with this. And again, I've said this about these guys before. They're not the G-men of the past. These are not like the guys that were around when my dad was around. You know, they're not pulling off a JF. Actually, my dad is still around. What the fuck am I saying? Oh, I gotta call him. I hope I didn't just kill him now by saying that. Oh, Jesus. My dad's awesome. I never had a problem with him. I think that's what, like, being cool with my dad, I'm not gonna get into my own personal shit here, but it helps a lot. It helps a lot. It's not like we did a lot of stuff. He was a businessman, so he was always, he was gone a lot doing stuff, which was fine with me. Like, I was never one of those people that like, oh, I need my dad to play ball with me. I don't know what the fuck I would have did with him if he was around. Like, what, you know, he was cool when he needed to be, did what he had to do. He kind of got me reading, because I wasn't interested in fucking reading at all. All I cared about was comic books. And he would put me on the floor, and, you know, because I wanted to know what the fuck was going on. I wanted to know why these guys were beating the shit out of each other. And he'd explain that. So when he wasn't around, I get frustrated because I had to figure out, because I couldn't read the words. So that's how I learned to read, you know. But anyway, I don't know how I got off on that, but oh yeah, the G-men on my dad's day. These guys aren't pulling off a JFK. Do you know what I mean? These guys aren't pulling off at anything. It's all fucking diversity hires and, like, you know, new males, like new feelings people. It's like they're just not. There's no way, you know. So there's a lot of frustration there, you know. That can see why they're upset, but they shouldn't be upset at the world. They should be upset at themselves. But there is no profile. There is no, and that frustrates them because they want to have a profile for everything because it makes their job easier. So in the frustration, they show their hand all the time. The thing about poll is that makes it almost unusable. Is I think they're now at the point where they're like, we're just gonna flood it with shit. People will stop going because the quality's so bad. And I know a lot of Anons have, but you can't. You still have to show up. You know, you don't have to be there all the time. I check in like once a day just to see what's going on in the news, because usually the most important things are at the top. You know what I mean? Or at least once a day I'm there. And if there's something good, I'll contribute. But most of the time, if I'm going to go on 4chan, I'll be on X. Which, there are a lot of glowies over there, but they're a different kind of glowy. I think they put the guys with a little bit more, I don't know, experience. Not experience, I don't think any of them have experience, but it seems like they understand the culture of that board a little bit better, but you can still point them out. You can still point them out. There's not as much anger with the ex-glowies, but you can still rope-a-dope them with a little bit of talk. It's not hard. They're just, it's a weird, the whole 4chan thing's a strange proposition for them, because on one hand, they want to keep it, you know, as a farm, as a honey trap. It's great for them. We got all these kind of people in one place, except they don't have all these kind of people in one place, because it's all kinds of people. You know, all kinds of people. Sports stars are down there, celebrities are there. You know, they've outed themselves there. It's like you can, it's lawyers, scientists, doctors, the people that they think are important because they have the framed papers on their walls, but they don't want to understand that, or they don't want to believe that, because if that's true, then their whole ideology thing is wrong. So that they can't come to terms with the fact that it's anyone else than a guy like one of those dudes that they said they dragged out of their basements. They were all in their basements, and we dragged them all out, and here they are, and you're next. No one's shook by this, because it's so blatantly fake. And even still, what are you gonna do? None of the people, right? None of the people that they want to get or whatever. No one says. It's not often that someone does some real egregious shit or says some real egregious shit. People know not to threaten anybody there. Like, that's just, if you do, you're an idiot, right? And everyone knows that if you post some kind of threat toward anyone, whatever it is, the feds can come to your door and get you. I mean, if you don't understand that, then you shouldn't be on the internet. And the hateful screeds are usually them. You know, people don't care that much. They'll make, like, no one's going on there just for that. You know what I mean? No one's going on there just for that. Or very few. So they get the whole place wrong. And it's just going to continue to frustrate them. It's a puzzle that, you know, that they don't have the brains to solve. And that's really it. And that, as they say, is that. Friday night here in Waikiki. I don't have my bag, but a lot of this shit is about intent. So it's like, I figured I'd just go take a cruise without it. It seems like whenever I'm not prepared is when something pops off, you know? And by not prepared, I mean not have all the stuff I would like to have. I'm always prepared. Make no mistake. I may not be his best soldier, but I'm one of his most ready. Don't blame the teacher, blame the school.